Hello, my name is Lauren Mays, and I am a senior here at Western Kentucky University, majoring in child studies. I will be graduating in May of 2023. I am presenting to you today my cumulative project, my video, for the role of play in child development in FACS 393 with Dr. Babb. I have thoroughly enjoyed this assignment, and I look forward to presenting to you now the importance of defending play in child development. My observations took place at the Montessori School of Bowling Green. I observed on 2 different occasions for 2 hours, totaling 4 hours in total. I observed in their primary classroom, which consisted of children ages 3 to 6 years old. For me, it was the perfect environment to learn about the role of play in early childhood development, and I am glad to share that with you today. I first want to present to you some words that I've written on this page. I'll be reading off of it as they each play a significant role in this presentation. I want to begin with the first quote up here from our textbook. It states, "Play is the most important way that young children learn." I could not agree more, and I see it as essential to be in our classrooms today. Secondly, I want to present to you a few points that I have listed here that highlight what I will be covering today. Some of the topics include that play is necessary. It is hugely important in our schools. Secondly, play assists in many of the development aspects of a child, including a child's social development, interacting with their peers. In addition, it also assists in developing their cultural understanding skills, such as interacting with others who may be of a different cultural background, things like that. Secondly, especially in the Montessori environment, which can translate into other school environments, play may require teacher support. It may require teacher guidance, something like that. And lastly, play helps children develop lifelong skills, such as problem solving and adapting in situations. I want to begin today with the final quote that I have listed here by Maria Montessori. It states that the greatest development is achieved during the first years of life, and therefore it is then that the greatest care should be taken. Our children's lives are so valuable, especially in their earliest years, as those are fundamental and the building blocks to the rest of their education and their life. So I want to ensure to you today that play is important and it needs to be in our early childhood classrooms. Both of our textbooks, our Trawick Smith textbook, as well as our Bohart textbook, highlight some really important points in this topic. I think play is something that is very important, and many people have not been exposed to its importance or our understanding of it. Secondly, I want to highlight today that there are many different environments that play are important in, most notably being the early childhood environment, such as pre-kindergarten, which can translate to something like the primary class that I observed in at the Montessori school. Something to note is a quote from one of my sources with the author's last name being Prinz. It says that a rich language learning environment is informed by physical characteristics such as materials that encourage creativity, problem solving, and that can function as tools for play. I think this is so important because that's something that I really noticed in the Montessori learning environment and in their concept of play. I just want to highlight a few things before I continue on with the rest of my presentation about my Montessori experience and some notes that I have from my record logs and transcripts from that experience. I think one of the biggest things to notice is that play is one of the central aspects of the Montessori environment. While there are other topics covered and they learn about their mathematical skills and their reading skills and their language skills, their play is very child-led and the environment is very focused on play. Secondly, a few of the pieces that I noticed in their environment, they call it work, were that they practice their reading skills, their personal care skills, floral arrangement skills, They read the calendar and noted what the date was. They had many inviting spaces where they invited friends to join a community. They practiced their letters and their writing skills. And a really important aspect in noting the Montessori environment is that it's very homey and welcoming, so rugs are used in it as well. And lastly, life skills are heavily developed in the Montessori environment. For example, during my experience, children made egg sandwiches for their classmates and their peers. As I mentioned before, there were a few moments where the teacher had to redirect the children when it was needed. It was very much so a guiding factor. I think that play should be child-led with intervention by the teacher as it is needed. In addition to the Montessori life, I want to translate more to the pre-kindergarten classroom and why it is important that play would be an active aspect of that classroom. A quote that I have by Yogman, an author of one of my sources, is that play is not just something that is optional or unimportant. Play is not frivolous, as it enhances brain structure and function, and excessive function. Play should have intention and purpose behind it. It should influence a child. We should not just throw children into an environment or tell them what to do all day. They should have an influence in their development, especially in their play. Secondly, play is very developmental, so it develops children's lifelong skills, social skills, and their cultural understanding. For example, I witnessed a lot of different cultural backgrounds and a lot of just social interactions that were positive and negative, so ultimately the children had to learn how to problem solve together. And to ensure that this is proven, I want to state something that is from one of my articles titled Hirsch Pasek, which is one of the authors. It says that scientific evidence suggests that eliminating play from the lives of children is taking preschool education in the wrong direction. So I want to urge you teachers, use play in your preschool and pre-kindergarten environments. It will transform them tremendously. In addition, during my observations, I observed different activities that were available to the children, and it was very interesting to see how closely child development was tied to play. In addition, play is the most critical aspect of a child's development, and that if it is not present, the children's development is not being set up for proper success and growth. I want to assure you that, yes, many other skills are needed and different methods of learning can be important, but in these early childhood years, play is an instrumental way to allow children to focus, learn, nurture their growth, and things like that. Another point that I want to make by an author with the last name of Engel is that play is not just something that occupies a child or teacher's time. I don't use play in a classroom environment as something that can occupy my children, be busy work, and I don't have to do my job. I want to use play because it is something that can transform my children's lives and really enhance their classroom. Because in addition to the inner workings that play can have in a child, such as these developmental aspects or brain functionings that we're talking about, play also establishes a deeper sense of camaraderie and understanding between different children. As Engel mentions, children need to play with others and with people of all different backgrounds. We need lifelong skills for the rest of our lives, even into our adult years. And so it's critical that we just set our children up for success by providing them opportunities to develop those skills now. In closing, I just want to remind you how important play is, and we ought not to lose sight of that. Play allows children to grow, learn, develop, and explore in imaginable ways. Play has many benefits to a child's development, namely being, as Treywick mentions on page 52, that it allows children to investigate, think, create, question, socialize, and problem solve. It has so many opportunities for children. We need it in our classrooms. And lastly, there's a quote from an author that I used a source from with the last name of Yoke. And that individual states that the correlation between early childhood teachers' ability to create play in their classrooms has a large aspect on a child's creativity through free play. So it is our job too, as educators and as teachers in these environments, no matter what background we've come from, to continue to learn for our students, to continue to set up environments that have great opportunities for our children to learn, and most notably to play. And lastly, I want to end that teachers, we must allow play to be part of our classrooms. I urge you to continue this conversation. I will, for the rest of my life, continue to study this topic and learn and try to educate people to the best of my ability, because it is a conversation. It is not I know more than you. It is a conversation of knowing and understanding how important these aspects are, especially in our pre-kindergarten classrooms. I will end with this by an author with the last name of Elkind. They said that when we appreciate the important role play serves in a child about their learning about their self and the world, we give children the time, the opportunity, and the intention to engage in the self-initiated play that is the surest way for them to fully realize all their intellectual, emotional, and social potential. Sort of how Maria Montessori mentioned, these are critical years of a child's life, these early years, like the primary classroom, ages 3 to 6 years old, similarly to the pre-kindergarten classroom. And so we must set our children up for success, most notably being play in their environment. Thank you for your time and attention today. I look forward to continuing this conversation about why I want to defend the importance of play in the early childhood classrooms. Thank you.